Nothing is more fun than a day when you have a brilliant idea, but things don't quite go as planned. Hi, Happy Hoarder here, and I am participating in Room by Room with the host, Freckled Mom DIY, and her co-host, Lovely Moments Creating. Thank you, ladies, for putting this together. I had a plan, but I changed it at the last minute, and this is what I came up with. So I had set a really sweet table and I had some ideas for DIY. So I'd already filmed like the table before I added the DIYs and it's got some really cute footage of that I was going to use. And it was a lot of work putting that table together because I had to find a lot of cute stuff to go on it. And then I decided to do something different. I don't know why, but this is what I decided to do. I had this piece that is in really, really bad shape. And I had this idea that I would use those tacks that are in the first pictures, or nail heads, or whatever you want to call them, brads, something like that, as a decorative trim. But what I did is I was measuring it out. I had the hardest time finding the center on this, and it was not going to come out even, and I was getting a little bit frustrated. Plus, I was a little bit concerned about what was going to happen with that area where there had been some water damage and it was going to be kind of globby and messed up. So I knew if I painted it wasn't going to look great. Well, I got another idea because there's always the backup plan. I dug through a bunch of napkins that I got at Rolling Hills Ministries. I got these in order to use for, I don't know, decoupage projects, but it turns out I think I failed Decoupage 101, and you're going to see why. I'm using the Mod Podge that I received from Plaid. So thank you, Plaid. I am a Plaid ambassador in training, apparently, because I'm still trying to get some things figured out. I love this color. I think this is going to be fabulous. And I have never, ever Mod Podged with a napkin in my life. I tried to separate that. It would not separate. So I thought, well, maybe I can just use it. No, you can't. Lesson learned. So I did have quite a nightmare to deal with. So what I had decided to do, once I kind of got it stuck down, and it looks really good on the video so far, was to use the gold that I was going to put on the trim, on the outer rim, and do some little highlights on the gold that's on the design. So that was kind of fun, and it was very cathartic, and I did it for quite a while. So then I went back and trimmed the edge. Turned out it had a couple of wet spots, ended up in a little bit of tears, and my blade wasn't as sharp as I would like. Always start with a very, very sharp X-Acto blade before you do any projects. Just a little note there. And I also had no extra blades. So yeah, it should be one of the things I need to buy this month. That doesn't count in my no spend November, because that is something I need. Anyway, I cleaned that up. I do have a couple of boo-boos here and there, but don't worry, they're going to get fixed. I was kind of surprised at this project, by the way. I was really kind of like, what? Nothing's working. Why is this happening? But the happy accidents in this particular case really turned out to be kind of cool. I had no idea what this was going to look like when I got through because, I had different ideas. One was to use cording, which I threw down there real quick, and I didn't like it. Well, then I got some red paint, thought, well, I did the gold bling, let me find some red. And Plaid had sent me this really beautiful red paint. This is Regal Red, and it's got the metallics in it. So I said, I'm going to try that. So I put that in, and I love it. It's really great. So as this napkin dried more and more, the black from the base started kind of shining through and gave it a very aged and distressed look. And I thought, oh, I'm going to really like that look. But then I was like, okay, somewhere in between I'm going to like that look. Not so much distressed, somewhere with the bling. There's going to be a happy medium. So I'm letting that dry. In the meantime, I just threw something in front. That's what I threw in front to show you that's a project I'm going to work on while that dries. Now, I don't want to use the red. I think the red's too pink. So it's not going to work for me, but I have a plan. A lot of times when gold leaf is applied, it's applied over red, so I was fine with that. So since I'd painted that red, I decided to go ahead and paint this red as well. And I'm going to do the same process where I'm going to go back over it with gold. So I'm painting very quickly now, trying to get this down really fast because does anyone really want to watch me do the entire thing in red? But I will tell you this while I've got your attention. When you're trying to paint those mitered corners, trying to get that brush at the right angle so that you can get a nice smooth transition into not have that overlap. So that was my challenge. And then after doing this for a while, I decided what I had done on my other one, my round platter, which is a tray. I guess it's a cake stand. I don't know what it is. So I liked it more with the gold was just kind of laid on in different directions. So even after working on really hard at trying to get this perfect, I ended up changing it. I know. So back to the gold. Yes, I got to clean up my mess because I made a huge mess. And you will see as the video goes on, I get messier and messier. I want to give a big shout out to all of you people out there who can do a beautiful job and not make a big mess. And as you see, I have some turkeys over to the side that didn't make the glam, but they're fixing to be a little bit of a project. So yeah, now I'm going to go over the gold, and it will take forever if I do it in this speed, but this is a gold that Plaid sent me, and I'm so grateful for that because it is a beautiful color, and look how well it goes with that, especially when I did the highlights. It looks fabulous. I should mention here, I am not a glamorous person by any means, so these challenges are truly challenges. And I enjoy doing them though, because I do like pushing myself into, new things. So this is kind of on the borderline of something I would use versus something that's just a little bit too glitzy, and I would just kind of buy it and probably sell it later because I wouldn't look at it as something permanent I would use in my house. But I am going to hang on to this weird piece because a lot happened. We just had this bonding experience, and I know a lot of you crafters know what I'm talking about. Is when things probably don't go as you planned, and so you're kind of always making new decisions and like, what could work here, what could I do there, and you just bond with it. That's what you do. It's kind of like me and my dolls. It's things that you want them to do, like smile. I just want to draw you with a smile. And why do you have a frowny face? I don't know. I want you to look sexy, but you look sleepy. I don't know. I can't seem to make these things work sometimes. But you just sometimes just have to let things be what they want to be. And this is what this tray wanted to be. So paint, 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 paint. And while that's drying, I found this little picture at Rolling Hills Ministry Thrift Store. That is my favorite thrift store, my favorite place to shop. And I decided I just didn't, really couldn't go with all the gold. That's just way too much gold for me. So I want to do something fun. And I got this great idea that I would just decoupage, Mount Podge, whatever you want to call it, that tissue around this one little area. That was some cray-cray right there. So first attempt was a fail, and second attempt was, well, I got a little better at it. So the reason that would have been amazing, but it was too much pattern, first of all. Second of all, the least little thing happened to it, I would lose my design. And a lot was happening to it when I was trying to smush it down. So that's not working. Yeah, toss that one. The backup plan is to just use the pattern. Mostly I wanted to get that red and gold. Now I did not start out this whole project thing wanting to do things that were all the same color. But while I was on it, why not? So I worked on this for quite a while. In fact, this I may even have to speed up even faster because this was very tedious. My art teacher came out in me somewhere, and I decided, yeah, too much red here, too much gold here, and I played with it a lot of time went into making this part of the video. So what I did, I started out thinking I could just cut it, but then I decided I only wanted certain pieces, and I went through and tore it, and then just overlapped it. And I was, hitting areas where I had a lot of gold, and I thought, well, no, almost more red there. You can see how this can become a little obsessive. I do have a lot of pieces that are hanging over because later my plan is to just sand those parts down and get rid of them or cut them off and make it work. So back to this tray. Now, I got a little bit bored waiting for things to dry, so I found a little project to do. And I picked up this bell. I bought these bells. They came in a goodie box from Rolling Hills. There were like 3 different bells. And I was thinking about doing something with them for Christmas. And I saw where Devin had done the same thing. Well, you know what they say. Great minds think alike. I've been sitting there kind of deciding what am I going to do with it. So I'm over here trying to play with it, coming up with some plans. Covering it with Mod Podge and stuff like that. I'm using my napkin to go around it. This turned out to be a really hot mess, but it was kind of a fun way to just do something while you're waiting for things to dry. And I kept taking out the scene, so sorry about that. It was just something I was playing with. And it didn't make the final cut. But not because it was really horrible, but because maybe it just needed a bow on it. I don't know. But it really wasn't what I had planned on doing, and I thought it was just, something I could play with later. Now we're back to this. Got to paint this gold. Yeah, so my other plan on this is, I'm just throwing all sorts of paints in front of y'all. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's got little feet. I had to pick it up to paint the feet. So went back to this to work on this some more and give it a coat. I want to tell you right now, between the two of those, I gave them, I think, 4 coats of gold paint because I wanted this look like gold leaf. So instead of just painting it like a smooth finish, I wanted the texture to go back and forth so it would look kind of like it had been applied on there like gold leaf. So it was interesting. I don't know, just what I did. Oh, here comes the fun part. Paint, 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 paint. Yeah, so I went around and I did all the gold, and then I came back with the reds and back and forth. And I definitely want to get some of these tiny little lines on the inside of the golds to pop out with that bright metallic red on the top of my head. Yay. So this took a while. I won't kid you, and my legs are killing me from standing in this weird leaning over position. But hey, I'm going to be really happy with this piece when I get through with it. Unfortunately, my camera died, and you don't get to see the next step, which is me adding copper tape. I'm using a copper tape that you use for stained glass, and it goes around the stained glass and you solder that together. But I have found more uses for this tape, and I'm using it to kind of decorate these pieces. With that tape, you do have to put Mod Podge over it to keep it from peeling up. Now, I don't know if they'll keep it from peeling up, but it'll definitely resist being peeled up. It puts a nice layer over it, so you'll have to do that as well. And you'll see them in the finished pieces. My battery died on my camera because I have been working 4 hours on all this stuff. I know, but look at the cool stuff I made. Thanks for watching, and please hit like and subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification button because sometimes I make pretty good videos. Bye!